Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the world famous Lock and Load show on the fabulous Gun Channels platform, broadcasting across the interwebs and across the universe. Guns, freedom, and the truth until dawn. And got a lot of stuff happening in the world today. And a lot of controversial stuff. Hong Kong is being they had like millions of protesters in the streets, and they stormed the legislature after basically the Chinese army masquerading as police decided to withdraw for the evening, and the some of the protesters in the street took advantage and charged in and screwed up the legislature. And they're not very happy there about China's heavy-handed kidnapping of people and extradition without any trial or anything. So, and and the thing is that financially, Hong Kong is like a clearinghouse for China with a lot of overseas companies. So it's like it's not too easy for them to like just roll tanks like on people like they did in Tiananmen Square, because it's an island. But they do have police there, and apparently, when challenged, the police weren't actually from Hong Kong, because they didn't speak Cantonese. They didn't have any police identification. They were just Chinese soldiers in riot gear, backing up. I guess maybe not all the Hong Kong police really want to fight 2 million protesters in the street for some reason. It's like they were used to kind of more freedom than they have in the British Empire, but Britain's lease expired, and so they kept their promising it was like a 99-year lease or something. Gave it back to China, and well, the people there just aren't used to not being free. And speaking about another country that's not used to being free, I would like to just talk about what President Trump was actually doing when he visited North Korea, or set foot in North Korea. And he basically did his little diplomacy by Twitter. And so he tweeted that he would like to, he's really in the neighborhood, and he would like to meet with Kim Jong-un at the DMZ. And so he went and met with them, and he stepped across the demilitarized zone into North Korea after being invited in by the chairman of the party over there. And so for a few moments, he was without any Secret Service protection, and he was relying on the goodwill of the North Vietnamese soldiers there. And maybe we would have had a better Second Amendment advocate if they would have taken him out and put Mike Pence in charge, because people aren't very happy right now with a lot of Trump things that are happening on the Trump administration for Second Amendment stuff. But what he was doing when he visited North Korea, which everybody seems to have missed in the entire media, is that, well, we're having a lot of problems with Iran, and that as far as them passing their limits on uranium enrichment and heavy water refining and stuff like that. And so they're blowing up tankers and shooting down drones and all kinds of other stuff. Well, if we have to have some kind of military confrontation in the Middle East with Iran, it would sure be nice if we didn't at the same time have a conflagration on the Korean Peninsula. So he's going to use diplomacy, and just by being nice to someone and smiling, he's taking that entire Korean Peninsula off, at least for a little while. I mean, they don't, feel the need in North Korea to shoot down planes or sink ships or shoot missiles, ICBMs over other countries if they're having a meeting with the president of the United States and everybody's smiling and telling each other how great they are. So he's just taking the entire Korean Peninsula and like putting it on ice for a while. He's icing it. And if there's an agreement that does or doesn't, or if there isn't, the important thing is for the next few months, the Korean Peninsula is on ice. We don't have to worry about it. And if we need to fuck with Iran, well, we won't have to at the same time fuck with North Korea. And which kind of brings me to why everything that Canadian Prepper said in his last video today was wrong. I mean, I like Canadian Prepper. I have his bug out roll. I bought one and I did a video with it. But his entire concept about that the American military isn't ready or something, or can't handle the threats that it would face in a major conflagration is just wrong. I'll let Squib deal with how hard it is to sink an American carrier, because he said that before, but they aren't just floating targets. There was so much that he said was wrong. It's hard to know where to begin, but the fact that the United States doesn't just buy a bunch of stuff, that it spends a lot of its budget on operational readiness, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. And he was like, they're spending all their money on operational readiness. They're not buying any new equipment or anything with it. It's like, well, yeah, that's because, I mean, dude, you run a preparedness channel. If you just have stuff and you don't train with it, then anybody can take a bunch of conscripts, or any country can conscript a bunch of people and call them a division and give them gear. But if you don't train, then if you deploy them, they'll be fucking useless, or next to fucking useless. And so it's, I realize there's no effective countermeasures at the present time for like the new hypersonic missiles that Russia and China have. But I don't think that and the other thing is that what he said was, if the United States gets into a confrontation with another superpower, there are no other superpowers on the planet right now. So I don't know what he was talking about, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't. But I did want to go into the reason that I think Trump met with North Korea is because he knows he wants to put that on ice, because it looks like we're heading towards some kind of confrontation in Iran. Now, I don't know if we can just blow up a bunch of stuff from the air or missile strikes and deal with their uranium enrichment sites and heavy water sites, or on top of that, if we're going to have to send troops on the ground to deal with those sites. Because the only thing that anybody really cares about Iran is whether or not they can have a nuclear weapon. So
he's in the wrong country. He shouldn't be visiting North Korea if he's afraid of Iranian nuclear capability.
Who should he be visiting?
Israel.
Well, here's the thing. Let's talk about Iran. I can't do screen share. Is not working.
No, Israel will strike before us, Squib.
They did when Saddam was trying to get a nuclear weapon. They took him down. You think they can't do that again?
Iran is a lot bigger than Iraq. And let me just go over Iran's capability.
I think he's trying. I mean, we're trying.
Who won the Iran-Iraq war again?
We're going to have to try to hold Israel back.
Well, that's not. Before we get into that, I just wanted to give a rough overview of Iran militarily, really quickly. Okay. I can't share this.
They got about 15 busted tanks, 2 crop dusters, and a shitload of AKs.
Let me give you the accurate numbers. Not what Squib just
Man,
said.
I love that, Squib. That was awesome. You got a couple of busted tanks, a few crop dusters, and a shit ton of AKs. That's awesome.
Right. Okay, that was a great line, Squib. But the truth, their population, 83 million, available manpower, 47 million, fit for service, 39 million. Reaching military age annually, 1.3 million. Total military personnel, 873,000. Active personnel, 523,000. Reserve personnel, 350,000. Total aircraft strength, 509. Fighters, 142. Attack planes, 165. Transports, 85. Trainers, 104. Total helicopter strength, Squib, 126. Attack helicopters, 12. All right, moving down strength. Combat tanks. Let me do the disclaimer for combat tanks. Combat tank value includes main battle tanks, light tanks, tank destroyers. No distinction is made between tracked and wheeled types. Armored fighting vehicles value includes APCs, IFVs, MRAPs, armored cars. Rocket projectors only include self-propelled forms. Okay, combat tanks, 1,634. Armored fighting vehicles, 2,345. Self-propelled artillery, 570. Towed artillery, 2,128. Rocket projectors, 1,900. Naval strength. Total naval assets, 398. No aircraft carriers. I know they have a helicopter carrier, but no aircraft carriers. 6 frigates, no destroyers, 3 corvettes, 34 submarines. I'm pretty sure they're mostly Russian Kilo class. Patrol vessels, 88. Mine warfare ships, 3.
I think as far as their tanks and, stuff of that nature, I think Squib could agree that we probably have that much sitting around on trains across the U.S. being transported at any given time.
Right. Well, the point is, if we land some troops around a uranium enrichment facility, it's likely to have some military assets nearby, and our troops won't be able to just walk on over and blow shit up unopposed.
Do you remember during the first Gulf War, they said, "Oh, it's going to be the mother of all battles because the United States military is taking on the 4th largest army in the world." We whipped their ass so fast, they had no idea what happened to them.
That was Saddam who said the mother of all.
I'm telling you that these statistics mean nothing.
Baghdad Bob said that.
They literally mean nothing. How much of this equipment is old and outdated? How well are they trained? How many of them are going to give up? They're going to surrender to a freaking drone when they get shelled. I'm telling you, it's a bunch of numbers, and for somebody who doesn't understand military stuff, they're going to exaggerate this to make it sound like, oh, we're screwed.
Well,
dude, we could take on Iran. I mean, send the Boy Scouts over there, for Pete's sake.
Well, I don't think it'll be after we overrun Iran and Tehran. How safe do you think is going to be to patrol downtown Tehran at night?
We'll just do what we've done every other place over there: kick their ass and leave. No exit strategy. Why start now?
Okay. Well,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think we should take all their oil too, but I mean, I'm just an imperialist, I guess.
Why should we take their oil when we're producing plenty more oil than anybody else on the planet ourselves? And our only interest is to see economically they can't sell their oil anymore because the dollar is basically the world reserve currency, and the Treasury Department controls the SWIFT system. And aside from some former European heads of state trying to save some European business interests that do business with Iran by having some kind of replacement for the SWIFT system, it's basically that they've gone down from 4 million barrels a day to like 40,000 barrels a day. So their economy is shattered. I mean, Iran's a one-trick pony. But that being said, I don't think we want to occupy a nation of, how many people did I say? Let's see, go back to the top of this thing. Total population, 83 million. We don't want to occupy in a country with 83 million people in it that don't want us there. They may hate their government worse than us, but that's before we invade. So I just think that the most likely scenario, if we have to get rid of their uranium by force, is airstrike followed by a possible limited ground invasion of just those enrichment sites that we know about. They're obviously going to have secret sites that we don't know about, but we're just going to probably go in there and do the best we can if they don't want to follow their commitments. We may have pulled out of the nuclear deal, but the Europeans still want to try and hold Iran to it, even though we pulled out, and Iran is saying nope, and they're gone over the limit in the agreement. And if Europe doesn't want to help them get around the U.S. sanctions, then because they can't sell any oil, their economy is shattered. They got nothing. I mean, and
I'm not saying we have to invade and occupy. I'm totally down with what you're saying about airstrikes and limited, ground operations for places that we know about. I'm sure we've been gathering intelligence on this stuff for decades, so we'll probably have a pretty good idea of where to go and what to do. But no matter what, our military can go in there and handle anything they've got to throw at us. And if it's our way of saying, this is what happens when you try to play with nuclear weapons and you're a terrorist state, fine. Then that's the message we send to everybody. And that would be a stronger message to send to North Korea about, wow, they just fucked Iran. Maybe we should just back off a little bit. But instead, I don't know what Trump's doing over there. Maybe he's posturing, whatever. But I don't think he's trying to get him in his hip pocket because, I can't fight two battles at once. I mean,
what about the Millennium Challenge 2002?
What's that?
It's the war game exercise where the United States wanted to see if they could take out Iran.
Is that an exercise or an active operational plan?
It was an exercise, and they never actually said it was Iran, but you should definitely Google it because the U.S. lost in the exercise, so then they changed the rules so they could win.
What was the name of this exercise again?
Millennium Challenge 2002.
2002, so that's 17 years ago.
Yeah, but it doesn't change the fact of like what they could do. I mean, especially if they've read. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to read this from Iran, but it's got some good stuff in it.
Well, hopefully nobody from Iran is listening. We don't want to clue them into everything we screwed up.
What was it? They used the Red Team was commanded by retired Marine Corps Lieutenant General Paul K. Van Riper, and
Riper or Ripper?
I don't know. Riper. There's only one P. So he pretty much whooped the U.S.'s ass. He had little like boats, so they told him what equipment he had to work with, and he pretty much turned little boats into suicide bombers against the U.S. Navy. And before he had them blow themselves up, he had them like call in all the positions for artillery. It was pretty cool.
So they won with a U.S. Marine general, is what you're saying?
Correct, the PlayOp 4.
So, but they don't have a U.S. Marine general. I just point out.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't actually have their hands on a copy of this report. So he used motorcycle messengers instead of using comms to avoid any comm jamming that could happen.
Well, my understanding is that the Cyber Command has conducted a cyber warfare attack on Iran's missile command and control already when they shot down the drones. So, it's just.
I'm just saying they're not, and I agree with Square, but they would have to stay in an air war because that place is not Iraq and it's not Afghanistan.
Yeah, and I will say this about Iran: it's also not North Korea. I mean, North Korea people may be used to eating grass and having to catch rats for dinner, but Tehran is like more like a modern metropolis. So, I mean, if their economy, I'm hoping that if their economy just completely fails, that eventually the government will collapse, and then we'll get somebody who's willing to make a deal one of these days. But I do think that Trump is definitely trying to put everything else but Iran on ice right now, in case he has to deal with them. It's just if we're talking, even if nothing actually gets done, how do they always put it? If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards when it comes to diplomacy with some of these countries. So it's just. But there's so much when you watch stuff on the mainstream news, or who just instinctively hate everything Trump does, or if you watch YouTube especially, there's so much fear porn out there. It's like, oh, Iran war will collapse the global economy or something. Yeah, bullshit. I mean, the European banks could collapse all by themselves without any help from Iran. And having nothing to do with it, but I just don't think Iran has the capability to project power. How they project power is by through proxy wars. They fund proxy wars, and they can't fund proxy wars anymore because they're all out of cash. They burned through that Obama happy money, and they got their fix, and so all their friends are shit out of luck. Hezbollah gets no money. The Hamas gets no more money. The Houthi rebels in Yemen get no more money. They're just SOL. I mean, I don't mind talking about this stuff, but I don't want to do fear porn. It's not that I think the U.S. is invincible. I just think that those people can't project power like at all. I mean, they could spend money and give it to groups like I just mentioned, but they have no military capability to project power. If they had nuclear weapons on missiles, okay, but they don't, and so that's why there might be some kind of strike. That'll make the markets go up or down, obviously. But like today, Trump just he did like reality TV for the economy, and it's like a reality TV trick. He goes, he sets up like a straw man little thing. He says, "Oh, if President Xi of China doesn't meet with me at the G20 summit, then I'll impose sanctions." And then he meets with President Xi at the G20, shakes hands, they both stand in front of the flags and everything and smile. And so he says, okay, I'm not going to raise tariffs anymore. And so the market skyrockets straight up today to a new high. It's just jawboning the market isn't anything new, but it can go down just as fast as it went up. So in the end, current events can affect how the market trades, but that's not the real economy. So with all the fear porn that's out there, if you're just like a regular everyday prepper and you do your average ordinary kind of prepping stuff, then this shit shouldn't bother you, and it shouldn't make you the least afraid. And so that's why when I see big channels doing fear porn out there, like Red Alert, Iran crisis will destroy the economy. It's like bullshit. I mean, every time the market goes up or down, that's not an economic crisis. I mean, so it's like, so just live your life, be humble, and just do your own personal preps, and this stuff probably won't affect us at all as individual citizens. I mean, if you have somebody in the military that might be deployed over Iran, then then there's risks for those people who wear the uniform, and we can do is say thank you. But I mean, I just don't think that this is anything that civilians need to be worried about right now. And there's so much fear porn on so many, I mean, all over YouTube, that it's just, I'll just do the best job prepping that I can. So whatever happens, I'll be as ready as I can be and prepared as I can be. And me and all my prepper friends will be good to go. And I don't have too much more to say about that. Do you guys have any thoughts about this?
I was kind of thinking that you were kind of indicating that you were afraid of conflict with North Korea or Iran. So what you're saying is you're not, you're calling out other channels?
I'm calling out the mainstream media and the entire internet. I mean, there's so much fear porn out there. Yeah, it's just, I see so much fear porn. It's like, yeah, it's like if you want to get a lot of, it's like clickbait. It's like you type Iran, North Korea, and, red alert, and then you get 20,000 views or something if you're a big enough channel. Okay, you just made $50. But really? Yeah, I'm not afraid. I was just trying to explain what I thought Trump was doing, which was putting Korea on ice so he could deal with stuff in the Middle East. And China has problems of its own. And here's another thing that Canadian Prepper said, that he keeps talking about how China is going to surpass the United States in within a decade. They're going to outbuild the U.S. Navy, blah, 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 and they're going to build more tanks, going to build more airplanes. It's like that industrial capacity by itself, I mean, isn't going to win China any war that it would have to fight. I'm not particular. I mean, 100 years from now, I'll be worried about it. But if I was alive, I'm 100 years from now, but I won't be. So, I mean, if I am, it'll be a fucking miracle. I won't be. I just, within the next few decades, China is still, I mean, we're their biggest customer. Why would they want to have a war with their biggest customer? It's like, if they want to have a war, they should have a war with somebody, with whoever else is supplying us with goods, so they can supply us with more than whoever.
Yeah, but the whole quantity over quality thing didn't work for Russia, did it? We won the Cold War. So it sounds to me like he's talking about old Cold War strategy, where you'll just overwhelm your opponent with bigger numbers, not better training, better skills, better equipment, better tactics, better. I mean, look, you're right. If you're going from the standpoint of fear mongering to get views, to make money, yep, lots of YouTubers do it. There are some that really annoy me when I see their videos and I'm going, you are purposely inciting a riot, you're inciting violence, you're inciting fear, you're inciting so many things, but that's what they're really doing. And it's like, oh no, we got your best interest, we're letting you know so you can be ready for. No, what you're doing is you're scaring a bunch of people who are too lazy to do research on their own, too inexperienced to know left from right. And that's another thing that gets me upset about some of the people on YouTube, is they've got these followers that just believe everything they say and they never fact check them. I'm not saying you have to fact check everything every time. And people call it critical thinking. I don't know. I call it research. It's really not that hard to do, especially with the internet, people. And you can even check your sources against other sources to make sure that you're not getting fed bad information when you're trying to find out about something, but people are they're just too lazy. And we complain about our politicians not having a clue as what they're talking about, especially like when it comes to our gun rights and stuff like that. But how many people out there, and these are good people, I'm not saying they're bad people, but they're just as ignorant as the politicians when it comes to so many other things. And I don't understand, I guess in the same sense, I don't understand somebody who lacks ambition, somebody who just wants to sit at home and panhandle to make a living. I don't understand it, or get on government assistance, or just cry poverty left and right. I don't understand that versus somebody who rolls up their sleeves and gets up and gets out there and gets dirty and makes a living. I also don't understand the kind of person that doesn't want to think for themselves. Just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do. What? So I lose my patience and I get frustrated with people like this. So I think I understand what you're trying to say. I guess I'm just coming at it from a different angle. At first, I thought you were really talking more about the Iran-North Korea thing, but what you're really talking about is people fear-mongering, and they're putting out bad information, and nobody's questioning them.
Yeah, and I do think that Trump is playing a different game than people have caught on to. I mean, as far as being when you're the president of the United States, North Korea isn't your problem. Iran isn't your problem. The melting polar caps, if they're melting, aren't your problem. The whole fucking planet is your problem. And you got to figure it all out to make it all somehow work. And you can't just deal with one thing. You've got to juggle a lot of balls in the air at the same time. So I just would like for people to, when they're thinking about what any president of the United States is doing, just take a wide view of the entire planet, and not just, I mean, don't just watch what he's doing. Look at the whole planet, and then consider. Then you might just be able to view what then look at what he's doing, and then you might be able to figure out what he's really doing. So, I mean, it's like, but he doesn't have a programmed response. So, I mean, I guarantee you every Chinese diplomat has read The Art of the Deal. So, because they want to know exactly what he's thinking so they can figure him out. But it's just, anyway, today in California, you now need a background check to buy ammunition. In case you didn't know.
Gone to California, won't be a problem.
Yeah, my dad wanted to go out and buy a bunch of ammunition, but apparently he doesn't have any more room for any more ammunition. So on the last day, Big Five was apparently having a sale. So, but now you need a background check. I remember when you didn't used to need ID. I remember going into a gun shop, and when they asked me for ID when I just wanted to buy one box of ammo, I was like, what? and the guy behind the counter was, yeah, I need to see your ID. What do you mean? Why do you? And I was like, just to buy a box of ammo, you need to see my ID? It's like, and he was like, yeah, it's really dumb, isn't it?
Do we have to show our ID?
You don't have to show your ID to be on this show.
No, I mean to buy a box of ammo. I don't remember ever showing my ID to buy a box of ammo.
Dude, I was buying ammo at 16, and no.
Okay.
And I remember when you didn't, which is why when first time somebody asked me for my ID, I think Reseda Sporting Goods, I was like, what? Just to buy a box of ammo? First he was like really, aggressive until he realized that it was stupid. He was like, yeah, can you just show me ID? I got to see it.
Walmart might do it, but I don't buy ammo at Walmart. And I know a lot of people on gun channels do, the only place to buy ammo by me is Walmart. Yeah, because you don't have any gun stores and you can't buy online. Well, I don't like using credit cards. Or the whole, Walmart's got the cheapest prices. You don't have any other place. You don't have any other place. I guess maybe it's just because I don't live, even though I've lived other places and I've visited other places. I don't know. I mean, I can be to the nearest gun store in 6 minutes. That's on foot. So, I mean, I guess if you live in BF nowhere, and but Walmart's the best price. I order most of my stuff off the internet, and it's cheaper. And when I tell people that, they're like, oh, I don't want to use a credit card. They'll track me. It's like, okay, tinfoil hat. But I think Walmart checks ID, so I suppose I could go down there and buy some ammo and verify it. So
I've seen a lot of Ammo Mafia videos on ammo runs to Walmart, and it just there's a lot of funny videos. Before I think YouTube didn't want that kind of thing on anymore, but I mean there's different ways to get discounts and price matching. So if they've like brought in a coupon from some other store or an advertisement, and then Walmart would have to match the price, and some of the employees didn't want to bring out all the ammo, or they wanted to limit how many boxes you could buy. And I liked when the Ammo Mafia was posting ammo runs all the time. I think I did a couple ammo run videos, but it's just when we had Sports Authority open before they went bankrupt, and so there's like one hunting shop and one gun shop in Kona. So if you're talking about I'm middle of nowhere, yeah, but hey, I could still get whatever ammo. It's not. I can't run there in 5 minutes. I can drive there in 2 minutes, but I think it takes me to walk to the gun store. It takes me 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
At Walmart, where I'm at, every time they scan a box of ammo, it asks for the person to recheck the ID. Check the ID again. Maybe it changed in the last 3 seconds.
I used to complain that my local FFL was an arm and a leg for ammo, and he was. I mean, he'd have a monthly special, and it'd be Walmart-ish price or maybe a little cheaper, but it'd be just on one particular brand or caliber or something like that. And when he built his new store, because he was making money hand over fist. Every gun store around here is booming. They've always been booming. That's one of the reasons I was looking into getting an FFL a long time ago. Maybe some other places, everybody lives on food stamps and nobody can afford a gun. But around here, if you own a gun store, you're filthy freaking rich. Well, when he built his new store, I went in there and I looked at, and he had more ammo than he normally had. And I'm looking at the prices and they're all competitive. And I'm like, since when did he start selling this for a decent price? So I've been buying ammo from the guy. Not like every week or something, but it's like, this is enough to make me, reconsider buying online if I just need a few boxes of this or that or something like that. Whereas before I'd make sure I threw extra ammo on an online order since I'm paying shipping anyhow because the online prices were so cheap. But I just, as much as I hear people say, support your local FFL, support your local FFL, telling me there's no gun stores around anybody, and I was the only person I ever remember complaining that my FFL was just price gouging, or if you want to call it that, on ammo, just ridiculous pricing on ammo. So, I mean, what is it? Is Walmart the go-to place, or is it support your local FFL?
Now, Squib, I will say where I live, the only gun store left now is, it's the new Gander Mountain. The Gander Sporting Goods is the only gun store left in the Coldwater area or whatever. They all kind of went out of business. One of them that I knew him personally. I'd done a lot of business with him. Reason he went out was really nothing related to regulation. He got a divorce and his wife cleaned him out. But, so. But Now, I've been amazed at the town I'm in right now. There's like a half a dozen gun stores in this town, in which I'm, like I said, I'm a little ways south of Fort Wayne in Indiana. And there's a bunch of gun stores in this town. And I ended up having to buy 4 new tires for the camper. And I got talking to the guy that I bought the tires from, and he's really into shooting. And I sat there in his office and talked to him for 4 hours while they mounted tires and took care of my camper. But
did you get a good deal on the tires?
hey, I'm on the road. You never get a good deal on the road.
Oh, okay. Well, just asking. Let me ask you.
When I'm on vacation or I'm traveling, if I see a gun store and I've got time, I stop in. And it's kind of interesting to see gun stores in different. Some things are the same, some things are different. Sometimes you see something that you haven't seen in a while, or you don't see this in gun stores very often. Normally, it's just in catalogs or whatever it is. And if I've got some extra money, I'll throw them some business and bring home something. It just depends on what they got. But I think they're out there. It just maybe in certain areas, maybe the economy just isn't supporting it. I mean, with all the hunters out where you're at, I'm surprised that there isn't a store in town or nearby. On the other hand, once you got your bolt action whatever, well, not down there, but whatever it is, I guess, once you got your 12 gauge, what else do you need, right? So
right. Yeah,
I mean, not everybody
sells anywhere.
Well, not everybody is a 2A advocate or reloads or whatever, but there are plenty of people who live in a country that do have a lot of guns, that do reload. Maybe, it's a trip to the gun shows, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't care if somebody buys their ammo at Walmart. I don't care where they buy their ammo. It's just, all I hear is Walmart, and that's the last place I want to go to buy ammo.
Which I would say most people in my area, typically right around deer season, they'll make a drive to Cabela's, which we have one.
Yeah,
and we have one in Grand Rapids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, basically, what I used to do every month was, when the Sports Authority was still open, is once a month I would do an ammo run, whether I needed more ammo or not. I'd go to Sports Authority, buy a few boxes of ammo, then I'd cruise on over to the gun store, buy a few boxes of ammo from there, and that was my run for the month. And over the years, the shit adds up,
And actually, this new company that bought Gander Mountain out has been very competitive on ammo prices. That Gander Outdoors, they call it Gander Outdoors now, but it used to be Gander Mountain Stores.
Well, I think the advantage that Walmart had was their price matching. Okay. So you could show a newspaper ad and they'd have to match the price. So as far as that's my take on the whole Walmart thing from what I've seen on Ammo Mafia.
One of my problems with Walmart right now is they're limiting what they will sell now. They will not handle ARs anymore. They used to be the biggest seller of ARs, but they don't want to, they want to buck, I guess, to the non-2A members now. So
I got to read you guys the first gun control law from the 1500s. I don't know if you guys get America's First Freedom from the NRA, but the first concealed weapon was like, I think based on Leonardo da Vinci's design, the wheel lock, and it didn't need like a burning match, like a matchlock, or so you could. It was the first concealable like firearm, and so whatever king was in charge of Italy he passed the. I need to read you this gun control law because it's just over the top. 1 second, let me grab it.
I went to Sig Sauer's Pistol Skill Builder course today. It was pretty good. I really had fun.
The first banned pistol ever, the Wheellock. Okay, 1523. City ordinance in Ferrara, Italy, is reported as reading, quote, "An especially dangerous kind of firearms have come to be used, which are called wheellock, with which a homicide can easily be committed. His Excellency, knowing that these are devilish arms, prohibits their being carried without explicit authorization under penalty of having a hand publicly cut off."
I guess that would stop you from carrying.
Carrying much of anything, at least with one hand. But the real problem for people not carrying these was because they cost a lot of money. They charged an arm and a leg, but not a hand. And so that was in the 1500s, Da Vinci's Wheellock. They had a picture of one, but which the camera, Google, the camera doesn't work. In between Windows and Google, they don't let you do screen shares anymore. So I think if they're trying to combat fake news by not letting anybody screen share anything, which I don't know if that makes things. The only fake news you're allowed to hear is from the mainstream media now. I guess what it is. But so if you want to screen share, you can't do it on a Hangout. You have to do it on upload a video. See, they have a picture of a German ball butt dag wheellock handgun, 51 caliber. Oh, that's from the 1600s, though. All right. Have any of you guys ever seen a wheellock pistol?
Picture. I don't even know if I've seen one in a museum.
Yeah, the picture that they have is from the NRA Museum. So, but that was the first banned pistol, a wheellock. Now, of course, they want to ban everything else nowadays, and I just, and what else stupid happened in California today? I heard Governor Newsom say that something. I saw one of his quotes, something that the Republican Party will be degenerated into a third political party because of too much masculinity. I mean, really? They sure do have a pussy for a governor, let me tell you. Too much masculinity. How do stupid people like this get put in charge? I don't know of anything. Keep telling my folks to get out of that state while they still can. But I guess they're getting too old to move, and I don't know. My dad's going to have his 84th birthday next month. And one of his neighbors just hit 94. And he's an amazing guy. They told me he seems to be slowing down now that he's 94. A little. But, all right.
Rupan, what were you saying about 6 Hour?
I went to their skill building class today.
Your what class?
I went to 6 Hour's handgun skill builder and pistol marksmanship course.
How was it?
Lots of fun. I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend going there.
What did they cover?
They pretty much, it was a 4-hour course, and they just kind of went over pistol marksmanship in its entirety. We did a bunch of drills, and at the end, I really tightened my groups up, especially at 25 yards. I don't think I've ever shot that good.
Sounds like a course I need to take. They won't have anything like that here, but
it just goes over. It goes over the basics, but it's even a little more basic the way that he goes through it. The instructor was awesome. His name was Dylan. And,
Matt Dillon?
No, just Dylan something. I forget his last name offhand. But
yeah, I'm hell on wheels with a long gun, but my pistol shooting sucks. So.
Yeah, that's why I went to the course. It was pretty good. There was a couple other guys there with red dots. I had my red dot, and yeah, we had some fun. And there's even one point where you like go up against another shooter and put your bullet in his hole. Little skill drill, and then at the end they have like they break the class into 2 teams, and you shoot at 25 yards at a bullseye. And yeah, it's just lots of fun. Really recommend going to a course like that.
So it's officially by the 6 Hour Company. It's a course that they have.
Yeah, they're up in Epping, New Hampshire. They have a big facility where their pro shop is. If anybody's familiar with the area, it's right next to the New England Dragway, like right down the street.
Does everybody bring their own pistol, or do they have loaners for the course?
They have loaners, which I don't even think you actually have to pay for them. My buddy, you just draw it out when you're about to go to the range. You draw it out from the armory. They have brand new 320s. So pretty good. And I got to adjust my red dot. My windage is off just a little bit, but pretty good. Yeah, doing the close-up stuff at like 3 and 5 yards, like really like 3 yards. There's a little bit of offset with the red dot on a pistol, but yeah, loads of fun.
All right, but that's the only place they have that course in New Hampshire. They don't have it anywhere else in the country.
There's other places like Steyr has their own training facility. I bet Glock probably has their own training facility. So there's like different manufacturers might have like on-ground training facilities where you can pay money to train, or I'm sure there's third-party trainers that'll like go to your local range.
If we have one.
If you have one. You're going to have to go to Oahu and shoot at those places where the revolvers are chained down to the table with all the Japanese people behind you.
The Japanese people are chained down too?
No, they're the people who go to those places. Those places like aren't even advertised to Americans because there's so many Japanese people who go on vacation in Hawaii.
Yeah, because if they can, especially if tourists can come from Japan and come shooting in Hawaii. I mean, obviously in Japan nobody's allowed to have a firearm, so except police. So there
is a firearms license, but yeah, good luck. It's probably like New York City.
That's probably worse than New York City.
Probably. Yeah.
So basically, only the Yakuza have guns and the police.
Yeah, the police let the bad guy get out the back all the time too because they don't care. That's what I've heard.
I've heard rumors and stuff about the Yakuza on the Big Island, but they're just rumors about it.
I've heard rumors about the Mexican cartel on the Big Island as well.
Mexican cartels everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, I think the main drug here is just ice, because it's poor people can afford a hit of ice. I mean, they just steal something and trade it for a hit of ice. Yeah. That's pretty much how it works.
Did you hear Dog's wife died, the bail bondsman? A dog.
That's sad. That's sad. Everybody was in love with her cleavage.
So I didn't know that dog was a convicted felon and that she was actually the bail bondsman.
Well, yeah, he worked for other people in Colorado and stuff too. Yeah, he was the guy that chased people down. But as far as who owns the company, yeah, Dakine Bail Bonds.
Yeah.
But I think his son runs Dakine Bail Bonds on the Big Island. And of course, Sonny Westbrook has the boxing guy. He has his little free little boxing that he teaches kids, just like up the street from where I live in the old airport beach park. He kind of lives out of there, but I tried to do boxing, but I didn't realize. I thought I could because I lift at the time. I could lift over bench press over 300 pounds. That I could do anything. So I tried boxing, but it turns out with 98% blockage in my arteries, I didn't have the cardio for it. I didn't know why at the time. Found out later. But boxing is all cardio, so you need to be able to. I mean, it's incredible amount of cardio. So if you don't have cardio, you can't really box. You don't have great cardio.
All right.
But anyway, all right. I think we covered all the stuff. I don't know, unless anything else stupid has happened in California. I mean, I've been getting a lot of emails from Firearm Policy Coalition saying that they're running out of money and everything lately. So I don't know what to say. It's like they file a lot of lawsuits on behalf of the Second Amendment rights, but I guess they're trying to do too much for the budget that they have. But they can't. You can't just send out an email and expect people to like fork over $1 million like every day just because you send out an email. I guess that's the one advantage the NRA has. They have such a huge membership base. Just the membership fees, I mean, keep it going. Whether or not they're doing the right thing, it's a whole nother issue as far as representing the membership. But it's just a big group of people. I don't know, how many members are in the NRA? It's like 5 million or something.
Part of the problem with that, though, is a lot of them are lifetime memberships. And if you have a lifetime membership, you can't cancel it. So a lot of the memberships they're claiming are lifetime members that really would not be members if they had the option of canceling. I would almost say 50%.
I bought a last time
left right now.
Last time I signed up, I bought a 5-year membership. So 5 years at a time is how I do it. They always call me up wanting me to extend it. I get phone calls from the NRA if you sign up like that. So
I gave mine somewhere else. I will not join again. I moved mine.
Well, I mean, there's other organizations. There's GOA, FPC, Second Amendment Foundation. There's not a lack of Florida Carry. There's not a lack of good organizations out there that do God's work as far as keeping people's constitutional rights and trying to do the right thing for that. I really haven't made any decision one way or another about renewing it. I think I got another 3 years to go, so I'll just put off any decisions until I get closer to expiring. I haven't really decided. I like the America's First Freedom magazine that they sent me, but yeah, I understand. There's a lot of people have a lot of different issues with the NRA, but I mean they've been trying to kill off the NRA forever, the liberals. So probably I got mixed feelings about just letting it go. it's just so much bigger than, I mean, whether they're lifetime memberships or not. I don't know. It's like sometimes they do the right things and sometimes they don't.
So with the suppressor thing, the American Suppressor Association has got a petition on their website. I go on their website, I fill out the petition, I send it. Next day, I got an email from them. They need my money. Dude, I don't even own a suppressor. Why would I join the ASA? If they're using their site to allow people to put their names down on a petition, to take that petition, then I want to legitimately put my information in there and say, yes, even though I don't own one, maybe one day I want to, or maybe my kids want to, or shall not be infringed, whatever, but here's my name. Well, I think they were just using that. Sure, I'm sure they were collecting names for a petition. They're also using it. So now they've got my email address and they're just going to keep sending me junk mail asking me for money. I sent that last week and I've gotten 2 emails from them asking for money. Never let a good tragedy go to waste.
Yeah, well, that's the world we live in. I mean, that's how people raise money. I mean, I get emails from Trump asking for money, and like he doesn't need my money. So I gave him $10 during his election campaign, and I think I've gotten like 1,000 emails since then. But we have to raise the Democrats this month or something like that. And but hey, maybe he'll get reelected, and I sure don't want Kamala Harris. She's a big gun grabber. She was the Attorney General of California, so it's about as gun grabby as you can get. And apparently she made Joe Biden look bad, which doesn't exactly seem like it would take rocket science. Negotiator says they have an unsubscribe at the bottom of their email. Suppressor thing.
Thanks. Next time I get one, I'll just do that.
Yeah,
look,
maybe
it's not that. I think it's good that they're using their website to allow people to put their name on a petition. They're helping out. They're doing what they're supposed to do. But until I own a suppressor, I really don't see any need to. I'm already in like 4 or 5 organizations.
I know the feeling it can get like overwhelming when 4 or 5 organizations constantly bombard you with emails for money.
Only 2 of them do. Only 2 of them bombard me with emails for money.
Yeah,
I mean, some of them send like meeting notices or they'll send updates if there's a state thing going on. But the only 2 that constantly send me emails asking for money are the NRA and the GOA.
I've never gotten email from Florida Carry asking for money. They auto-renew me, and I said, thanks for auto-renewing me. Some people don't like being auto-renewed, but I really like what Florida Carry does, so they just auto-renew my membership, but they don't ever send me money send me emails asking for money.
Are you in the National GOA or the MGOA, Squib?
No, in Michigan, I'm on the Michigan Open Carry. I was an MCRGO. I send them money, but I'm not in the MCRGO anymore.
Okay, what about Michigan gun owners?
No.
Okay. Well, my main one that I subscribe to now is Michigan gun owners. And I very seldom get asked for money other than once or twice a year, once a year. But I think now I'm on a 2-year membership. So only when my membership is due. But I like reading their stuff. I like their classifieds, which, you said there's a lot of gun shops in your area. There is also a lot of used guns for sale in your area. I don't know how many times I've wanted to drive up there and look at a gun. But that just shows you there's a lot of people in your area that buys and trades guns.
Oh, so. any gun shop up and down the main street that's right outside my house, right outside my back door here. You're in line. You're waiting. You're waiting to see somebody. Not because they don't have any people working there, because there's that many people in the stores all the time buying guns constantly. There are 4473s getting filled out all day and all night in these stores.
Wow. Sounds like a nice state. Well, I like that whiskey bar. I hope I get to visit that place. Is it like that all over Michigan, or just around where you live?
Well, around where I live you're talking about 5 counties that make up a metropolitan area. So, I mean, there's no gun stores in Detroit, but people in Detroit don't buy guns; they steal them.
Okay. I'll take your word for that one. I've never been to Detroit.
And I live in rural Michigan. Why? Where I live, there isn't a whole lot of anything. That's what Squib says. He goes back in time when he comes to my place.
Well,
that's just because of the Amish down the street.
Yeah, the Amish with the horse was yeah.
But the Michigan Open Carry has a family membership. So me and my wife are together under one membership. I think it's like $5 extra versus having to buy separate. All the other ones that I'm a part of, you've got to buy separate memberships.
So another company that I get lots of emails from is Amazon. So they always trying to sell me more stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Amazon, he had the world's most expensive divorce ever. I think she's getting like $30 billion worth of Amazon stock. That is one expensive divorce. And she said she's going to give most of her wealth away, but $30 billion is a pretty hefty price tag for a divorce. Anyway, okay, I think we covered everything that we need to cover. I don't know if Negotiator was talking about the Trump or the Trump unsubscribe or the Trump emails or the.
It's got to be the ASA because I just did it.
Oh, okay, cool. There we go. Problem solved. Another problem solved on Lock and Load, and there are more problems out there than we can solve. But I still like Canadian Prepper's bug out roll. I've got one. It's cool. So hope I didn't hurt his feelings. He's a big YouTuber, and I'm a really small one. So that's just saying what I think. Okay. We're going to grab this show unless anybody else has anything important to bring up. All right. Remember. All right. So we'll see you all next week.